Everybody wants justice. We want justice for George. He's going to get it. He's going to get it.
Mourners at George Floyd's memorial service in Minnesota Thursday celebrated his life and made strong calls for meaningful changes in policing and the criminal justice system. Governor Tony Evers called on state lawmakers to quickly pass legislation requiring law enforcement agencies to make the use of deadly force a last resort. Democratic State Senator LaTanya Johnson of Milwaukee is a co-sponsor of that bill, so she's joining us here on Upfront to talk about it. Thank you so much for your time. You know, we just spoke with Sheriff Vernell Lucas. He told us that deadly use of force is already a last resort. So tell me why you think this bill is necessary.
I think this bill is necessary, first of all, because Milwaukee has been here before. Less than 3 years, we had an uprising in the city of Milwaukee, and we saw some unrest. So we know that the problem that exists between the community and law enforcement doesn't just surround the George Floyd incident. It's very real feelings on both sides right here in the city of Milwaukee.
And what's in this bill that people should know about?
Basically, this bill just says that your use of force should be measured, that, deadly force is a last resort. The primary duty of law enforcement is to protect life. I think that's something that we all can agree with. It also states that deadly use of force should only be used as a last resort. It also has provisions in there that if force is used, you only use the amount of force necessary to stop the threat. It also says that people who are most vulnerable, like our elderly, those individuals with dementia, people with mental health issues, there should be standards created separately to deal with those individuals that would also minimize the use of force. If officers use physical force, they must use the least amount of force necessary. In the bill, it also says that officers can report excessive use of force without the fear of facing disciplinary actions. And I think that that's extremely, extremely important, because in both Dallas and in Philadelphia, who enacted just common sense use of force measures, they saw a decline in the number of excessive use force cases that they had in those cities. So it's one thing to say that we have that, and it's another thing to put it in writing. If it's in writing, that means that it is legal and it is binding.
How likely do you think it is that this bill will become law? Because some Republicans are already criticizing it.
So we started working on this bill in 2014. It wasn't introduced until 2017. So we worked on this bill for 3 years. The bill was created in the wake of Tony Robinson's death in Madison. So Representative Chris Taylor is the author on the Assembly side, and I'm the author on the Senate side. And also Seville Smith here in Milwaukee. And so we've introduced this bill for 2 years. Just trying to put some form of common sense measures in place, and it hasn't been passed. I think everything that I mentioned, nobody would argue with the fact that police's number one responsibility is to protect life. We all agree with that. And if you have an officer that uses excessive force, that it's okay for other officers to report that information and not be disciplined. So I don't understand from my perspective what the problem is with my Republican colleagues and why they feel that this bill shouldn't see the forefront as statewide measures.
It's an ongoing conversation, that's for sure. Senator Johnson, thank you.
Thank you.
Republican Senator Van Wanggaard of Racine said liberal activists wrote the Democrats' bill. Wanggaard is working on a different idea.
And we've been working on putting together a team that would be a National Transportation Safety Board team that would, anytime there's an event where somebody has a loss of life, law enforcement is involved, this team would be ready to go, and they would be on the scene, and they would be doing an independent parallel investigation to look at the function of how did this happen, why did this happen. Is it a function of not doing good vetting with hiring of officers? Is it about issues going on in the officer's life? Is it a training issue? Can we do better training? But we don't want to just throw it out there. This is about getting it right and making sure that individuals like are people that live in these communities, that they have a good voice and they know that there's going to be a sense of a surety that when an investigation's done, it's not a cover-up, something like that, that we have actually somebody going in and looking at what's happening. How can we fix it so it doesn't happen again?
New numbers are out on jobs expected to be lost as a result of the COVID-19 shutdowns. The Department of Revenue says Wisconsin could lose 626,000 jobs this year. That will be worse than what the state saw during the Great Recession. While DOR notes many of the losses are temporary, it says the state isn't expected to recover its pre-COVID-19 employment levels until the end of 2023. Nationally, though, the country added 2.5 million jobs last month. That's a good sign for economic recovery. UW System President Ray Cross is calling for a special legislative session to help the campuses with the economic fallout from COVID-19. Our editorial partner, WizPolitics.com, has the story on the web and on Twitter. Coming up, our friend Mike Goucher is back with us to talk about his new project.